The whole experience was a little bit overwhelming, was a little bit traumatizing, if you will, at the time. And I think it took me a really long time to learn my lesson and kind of step back and realize that maybe this wasn't for me anymore.
It's a bonding program.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Welcome if you are brand new. Today I wanted to go over a topic that I have discussed with my clients so many times. I've had so many questions about this. I've had so many people ask me about this through social media, so I thought that doing a video would be the perfect way to address everybody. So today we are going to talk about a very hot topic. Was a very hot topic in 2016, and it still seems to be going on in 2017. The fad, if you will, hasn't quit. So we're gonna hit that today. So today we are going to talk about competing. The good, the bad, if you should do it, if you really shouldn't do it, and my own personal story. So if you guys want to hear more about competing, if you're interested in competing, if you just want to listen to what I have to say about it, then let's do this. So we're gonna start this whole thing off by going through my journey, how I got into competing, and my experience with it, and then we're gonna go into the good and the bad and the difference between competing and lifestyle and so on. So for me, I started competing in 2011. You guys may know a little bit about the story if you've watched it from my my journey YouTube video, but if you haven't, basically I was serving at a local restaurant bar, and I was in a place where I was fitnessing regularly, if you will. I was training myself for a photo shoot, and just really getting more and more involved in the lifestyle. This is after my weight loss journey, so I just wanted something different, something more, something new. And coincidentally enough, I served a couple who had competed, and they told me, you know, all about it. And just as my interest grew, I kind of kept in touch with them. And the wife of the couple who became my coach at the time, she mentioned, you know, you should totally give it a try, you should compete. And I really had no idea about anything about competing, so I thought, hell, okay, sure, why not? So I definitely went into the whole situation very unprepared, but with a very open mind, and I think that was probably the best way to get me to start competing, because I had very low expectations and I was just excited and just wanted to do it because I thought it would be fun and a different fitness challenge. So I started doing bikini competitions, like, oh god, I think my first one was for like a car show, just to get some experience and to get comfortable in front of a bunch of people in a bikini on stage, which I would highly suggest if you were going to compete, to get comfortable before you go on stage, because you don't want your stage to be your first experience being half naked in front of a bunch of people, because that may terrify you and that may change your experience. So if you're a little bit more comfortable, it might make the whole situation a little easier. So yeah, I started doing that. I did some local bikini competitions. I won Miss Bikini Calgary, and from there on it basically just spiraled. My coach told me, you know, let's try an actual fitness competition, and this was still in 2011. I went into INBF, and that was my first fitness competition, and I think I only trained for it for like 4 weeks, and it was fun and I loved it, and I loved being on stage, and it was such a cool experience, and I really had zero expectations for it. I was just doing it to challenge myself, to try something new, to have a fitness goal, and I ended up placing third in that show, which was super fun, and it was awesome, and it was kind of just like the cherry on top of the sundae, because I really didn't have expectations going into it, which I think is kind of the way to go. So from there on, I competed one more time that year, and that's when I hired my new coach, who's still my coach, Nate, and I've been with him since 2011, so God, okay, for 6 years now, and he's taken me through every single one of my preps since my third show with him. So there's been some great shows, there's been some bad shows, but with each one of them there was lesson, and I definitely enjoyed the process, and I loved competing. And up until my last show, I was 100% doing it because I wanted to do it and because it was challenging and it was fun. And my last show was this summer. It'll be 2 years since I competed. So that was my last show, and that was the year that I found out that I had hypothyroid and my body was just really fighting us, and I had put all my eggs in one basket, and I was determined to win this show and to get my pro card, and that's really all I cared about, and that was the only thing that I focused on. And I really had, I think, the wrong energy going into this show, and obviously my body was responding, so it doesn't matter if I was doing it or not. It was not happy, so either way I wasn't gonna come out show ready. So the whole experience was a little bit overwhelming, was a little bit traumatizing, if you will, at the time. And I think it took me a really long time to learn my lesson and kind of step back and realize that maybe this wasn't for me anymore, that maybe this wasn't for my body right now, that maybe this wasn't for my mindset right now, that I was in a place where I was definitely competing for the wrong reasons. And if it was me seeing a client do that, I would highly advise them against it. So I decided to take my own advice and kind of hang up those clear heels for a little while. As of right now, I have no future plans in competing. I'm just in a really good place with my career and with myself and my body, so I don't really see it in my near future, but who knows, things can change. So that's a little bit of a backstory about my competition journey for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and just talk about you now. So we're going to talk about the difference between lifestyle coaching and lifestyle training and dieting and competing. So I use the word lifestyle a lot, and I'm sure some of you are wondering what that means to me. And I mean, of course, it's personal to everybody, but to me and to my clients, lifestyle is a plan that is achievable for hopefully anybody and everybody, and something that you can maintain throughout your everyday life and throughout your life. Something where you have a balance, where you can go out and enjoy yourself, but you're also committed to your fitness goals, and you're still progressing and you're still getting better. Now, when it comes to competing, things are a little different. Competition prep is super intense, and whether you're eating over 2,000 calories a day and over 300 grams of carbs, or you're eating 1,000 and 100 grams of carbs, it is still difficult. It is difficult because you become an athlete, in my opinion, once you decide to compete and once you decide to give it 110%. So it requires all of your commitment, and it requires a diet that may not be maintainable in everyday life. So the struggle is definitely there when it comes to competition prep. So like I said, whether your calories are higher or your carbs are higher or lower, they're designed for your body. So somebody who naturally, you're still in a deficit, because when you're in competition prep, you're in a deficit. You're trying to lose fat for the most part, depending on how you start your prep. So whether you're somebody that eats the high calories or the low calories, they're still low for you and for your body and for what you're used to normally. So it's very difficult to function off a calorie deficit and still be expected to perform at an optimal level. You have to remember that when it comes to competing, your training doesn't get to shit the bed when your calories and your carbs and your food go down. Your cardio doesn't get to shit the bed. You still have to give it 110%. So that's where kind of push comes to shove, and the difference between lifestyle and competition prep is a lot of the time, if, you know, my clients are finding it difficult to balance their training and their work and so on, we'll take a little bit of time off. We'll increase food, and it's okay if you have a little bit of weight gain during that moment to find that happy place again, whereas competition is completely different. Competition prep, you need to have that mental strength, that mental toughness, that even through the worst days, even through the days where you're most tired, you're still getting up. You're still hitting all your workouts. You're still hitting all of your food, And it doesn't matter if you're having a bad day or a good day, your effort and your consistency is the same throughout. Bad day, good day, you're still giving 110% on your workout, you're still giving 110% on your diet, on your sleep, on your water, and all of that plays a role. If you want to become a competitive athlete, you have to train and think and behave like one. Whereas a lifestyle is something that you are doing this to just improve your overall life. Maybe you want to lose a little bit of weight so you can move better, sleep better, whatever. Maybe you want to gain a little bit of weight just to live a healthier life. But again, it's not a specific time period. It's not when push comes to shove. It's go time. You have more of that flexibility. Competition prep requires a lot more sacrifice, a lot more time management than living a healthy lifestyle. So on that note, let's go ahead and get into the bad, because I don't want to finish this vlog on a bad note. So we're going to finish with the good. So let's go ahead and get into the bad and why competing may not be right for you. So I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard so many horror stories when it comes to competing, and that's primarily the reason I wanted to do this video is to kind of clear the air about that. So if you go into competing, into the competition mind frame, into the sport in the wrong mindset, it can end bad. It can end very, very bad. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of talk about the type of person, the where you are in your life at the moment, where competing might not be the right thing for you. So if you are the type of person who looks at competing as a way to lose weight, stop. Don't do this. Competing is not for you. You are dialed in to perfectly show on show day, and then you will no longer look like that. Okay? You are following a diet where you are in a very large calorie deficit to look the way that you do. A very small percentage of the world does this. About 2% to be exact. And it is not easy. You are following something that you may only be able to follow for the 16, 20, 12, 10, however many weeks it takes to do your prep. So if you go back to your normal living, if you will, after this, you will not look like that, right? Of course, we put reverse diet protocols and teach you what to do after the show, but it doesn't matter. Even doing that, you're still going to reverse back to a healthy weight, a healthy, maintainable weight. Yeah, you can still be lean. Some people still keep a six-pack year-round, depending on your body and your genetics. But don't do this to lose weight, because most people end up gaining even more weight after the show if they do this wrong and for the wrong reasons. So definitely do not get into competing if your goal is to lose weight. If you look at the girls on stage and you think, I'm doing this so I look like that, life-wise, don't do it. Second type of person who shouldn't do it. If you have an eating disorder or a history of eating disorders or anything in relation to the ED spectrum, competing is not for you. Have I had clients who have eating disorders who are in a place where they have it under control and compete and have a healthy mindset and a healthy off season? Yes, absolutely. So I'm not saying that this is, the same thing for everybody. But these clients have put in a lot of work with me before even thinking about competition prep, and a lot of healing with their therapist and with their family to get to a place where they're comfortable in their body and they view competing as a sport and as a sport alone, and they're not associated with the image and the body that comes with competing. So if you are struggling with an eating disorder, if you are struggling with low self-esteem, if you have poor body image, competing is definitely not for you. You can have a six-pack and still have a distorted body image. Competing is a big mind, insert swear word, if you will. It really screws with you, and by the end, you really don't know what you look like. So if you're struggling with an eating disorder and you don't have that under wraps, I highly suggest that you find another goal that is not competing. The other type of person I would say that shouldn't compete are those who have little previous training, so minimal previous training. So if you go to a coach and you know you don't even know how to do a deadlift or a squat yet, if you will, but you want to compete, I would really advise clients against that. You need to build the foundations, the foundational exercises, the foundational muscle, the foundational shape before you think about competing, right? If you're like, but I need it as a goal, set a photo shoot, set something where it's not as extreme and something where you're not being judged. Because if you're on chapter 1 and everybody else is on chapter 25, and then you go on stage and you're being compared to them, whether you say you're fine with it or not, you may be quite discouraged with the outcome. So set a different goal that's going to keep you motivated and keep you pushing forward. But definitely if you're a newbie when it comes to training, I would not suggest starting your journey off with a competition. And then actually there's two. Sorry, two more. So one thing that I see all the time is coaches posting, oh my God, my client went into the show with 2,000 calories and 200 grams of carbs and they still look amazing. Great. Do those coaches have people who are going into the show with 1,000 calories and 50 grams of carbs? Yes. Of course they're not posting about them because that's not what you're showing. Is it the coach's fault or the client's fault? Not really. So if a client comes to me and they're, either dieting themselves or they've been dieted or they just eat, but basically what they're eating is around 15 to 1,200 calories, it is a bad idea to do a show. Again, we have to put you in a deficit if we're looking to lose body fat, if we're looking to lose weight. So if you're sitting at 1,200 calories and I, let's say, want to get the ball rolling and have you lose a pound a week, that means I drop your calories by 500 a day. We're going to have a hard time. I highly suggest that you build up to a healthy lifestyle, that you build up your food, that you have your metabolism sitting in a healthy state where you can function and train and eat like a normal person and eat a decent amount of food before you start prep. Do not start prep on a low calorie, high cardio in that type of place because it's just going to get worse and you're going to set yourself up for failure and your coach up for stress. So use your off season if you are a competitor or if you're thinking about competing, your off season, so either before you start your show or after your show, use that as a time to bring your metabolism up to a healthy state, to bring your food up, to bring your cardio down, so when it's time to lean out, you use those things as tools to get lean rather than punishing your poor body and starving yourself. Nobody wants that. And then the last thing, I gotta hit this one. Competing is not for you if your only reason for competing is to win. You guys have to remember that this sport is so subjective. And being somebody who has judged a show, and I'm judging a show again in a month, I can tell you, I'm not sitting there and saying specifically in my head, I'm not going to pick her because I like this better. But naturally, there are going to be things that you like on a body shape better. Yes, we have, a scheme that we follow. We have a body type that we're looking for. We have certain things that we're looking for, of course. But if somebody is in the exact same place as their competitor, if first and second place are very, nose to nose, neck to neck, and then you're the type of person that likes brunettes better, and there's a blonde and a brunette, you're going to choose the brunette. And that's just the best way that I can explain it. So definitely don't put all your eggs in one basket like I did. That's advice I would give you guys. Have a greater reason for competing than just winning. If you win and if you can take it further, that's freaking amazing. But if you don't, that's okay too. And it definitely doesn't mean that you didn't look the best on stage as well, right? So just things to keep in mind if you are one of those people who's like, winning is everything, I must win, then maybe check yourself. You could still compete, but check yourself, get your priorities right, and then think about competing.
Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up right here. It's getting a little bit long, so in the next video you can catch all the good that comes with competing and my last few words that I have to leave with you if you are looking to get into becoming a fitness competitor. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment below, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.